Die Sprachübertragung beginnt jetzt. Alle Teilnehmer befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
For those who are currently on the webinar, we will start in a few minutes. Just waiting to see if anyone, for other people to join into the call. Hello and good morning everyone who's currently on the webinar. Well, good morning to everyone in Europe and hello to anyone else who might be tuned in. So this is a webinar on set actions. My name is Ben Wells. I am currently in the data school in London on my 7th week, and on my 2nd week I did a blog post on set actions and started getting into them from there and found a really powerful tool in Tableau. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Please write in the chat if I need to speak up or speak down or anything like that. But yeah, let's go on with the session. So we're going to start the session just by going over the outline. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at the set actions, which we'll be building in this webinar. I'll do a brief explanation on the differences between filters, groups, and sets and how I understand and distinguish them to hopefully give a bit of intuition about what's going on behind the scenes. Then we'll get on with building the set actions we've shown before, and then I'll share some useful links to of what I've used to help me learn set actions. Just to let everyone know that this is being recorded, so don't worry about following along, or if you are following, don't worry if you get lost behind. This will be recorded, so try and understand the intuition of what's going on, because that's what I found the hardest bit about sets, was understanding what's going on and trying to work out how I can use them to make effective visualizations and dashboards. So I'll just start off by showing you the set actions which we'll be covering in this webinar. So we'll start off with proportional brushing, I think it's called. So you correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what this does is if you had two views, two sheets in a view, one which would have, say, total sales by region broken up, and one which had total sales overall, this action allows you to see the region proportion to total sales. So if I click on West, you can see that now we can see the proportion out of the total sales. If we did East, it would increase, and so on. I find it's a simple set action, and it's a good way to understand what's happening in the sets. The next one will be table drill down. So I actually learned this one yesterday from Andy, our head coach here. And it allows you to sort of go to the next step in your question. So similar to the last one, we're looking at sales here. we've got the different sales by category, but if we wanted to know what makes up those categories and subcategories, this section allows us to do this pretty easily. So if we wanted to look at furniture, it would then allow us to see chairs, tables, and everything within the view, and then we can close that. And same for office supplies. I think this is a pretty powerful tool, and it's not too complicated to make. The next one is using set actions in conjunction with a collapsible container. I think this was pretty fun. So if we wanted to look at specific areas, specific time frame in the quarterly sales, we can highlight the area we're interested in. And then we have a container which would pop up and would show that breakdown, but more granular. So instead of the quarterly sales at the top, we will now have the weekly sales in the bottom. So a good use case for this would be if you need to save space in your dashboard. And I think it looks quite cool when it pops up and closes. Next one, this is another one we learned from Andy yesterday. And this one is about choosing a point on a certain subcategory to update the reference line for all those points across. So these are separate subcategories. And if I was to click here, that reference line would update. So it allows you to compare across groups like that, and things in a similar kind of area, that kind of thing. So this would be quite good for checking against targets and that kind of idea relative to others. And then the next one is the scatter drill down. So it's similar to the table drill down, but it can get a little bit more complex. So this is where I started my blog post on, and it's a much more improved version. So what this allows you to do is you can see we've got the scatter graph looking at sales and profit. If we were interested in the central region, we could click on that, which would then take us to the next level down of granularity, which would be all the states in that region. And then say if we wanted to go and look at the cities in each of those states, we could then click on, say, Texas, and then we would see all the cities in that state. So it allows, similar to the table drill down, the next step of the questions you're asking. I think when I saw this one, I thought this was one of those things I always want to do on the Tableau, like clicking, then the next bit down, next bit down, next bit down. So yeah, that's the stuff we'll be building. It starts from relatively beginner to more advanced, so hopefully I don't lose all of you on the way. But again, we're recording this, so it should be fine. So let me just quickly give my brief explanation about the difference between filters, groups, and sets. So a filter, when you put a filter in the view, it restricts the data. So when you put a filter, say on, you put a filter on sales and south, it would reduce the rows. So it's not quite as malleable as a set, because then we can only look at the south. So we won't be able to do this proportional brushing where we add them all together. Groups and sets are very similar. Essentially, a set is a dynamic group. So if you're familiar with groups, a set's a dynamic version of that. And when you put the actions involved, it becomes very dynamic and very fun. So let's get to it. So I'm going to open up a new Tableau workbook and get started. So we're going to start with proportional brushing. So the set action here is allowing us to add the selected regions to see its proportion of total sales. So that is now open. So I'm just going to connect to Superstore as everyone's favorite data source, Sample Superstore. And let's begin building the view. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just build it sales by region. So if we go onto our shelf and we get sales, and we go along to columns, and then we get region, and we put that across to rows. we've now got the first step. We'll just sort out by clicking on the sort icon up here, just to make it look a bit nicer. And then the next step is we'll just duplicate the sheet. So go down to sheet 1, right click, duplicate, and then we'll just remove regions from the row shelf. So we'll just drag that up over here. So this sheet, we're renaming this to total sales, and we're renaming this one to region sales. So we've got the two parts. So the first thing we need to do is create our set. So we want to create the set from the region. So let's go to region, right click or click on the arrow down, create set. And let's name this one region set. And let's just click central just to have something with you at the moment, but you don't need to. It just helps me when I build stuff. And let's drag that onto color. So we can see the region we selected was central, and that is given by blue. So central is in the set and it's true. Let's just bring that also onto the total sales to color. No, not so. That should go straight onto color there. Yeah, just bring the region set onto color, and we can see down the proportion there. So let's put this in a dashboard. So let's build a dashboard for region sales and total sales. Let's just make these bits of view, make it more clear for you guys. Our view, into our view. Get rid of this container. Okay, great. So what we need to do now is we can see when we click on the different regions, nothing's actually happening. It's because we haven't set up our action. So we need to go to dashboard, down to actions, and add action. So we are changing the set value in this action. We want to do it on the select, and we want to do it when we're selecting on region sales. So let's go and put region set as our target set. And then we've got different values to select here. So we can also run on single select, where we've got when you clear the set, is it going to keep all the set values, add all the values, or remove all the values? So what we want here is we want removal values, but we'll go through all of them just to show what they do. So removal values is when we click off the set, it's going to have nothing in. So at the moment we have central, I click off it again, we now have nothing in the set. So we can see the proportional brushing is now working. So the way I understand this is when you click on something, so when you click on this east region, it connects out of the set. When you click on it, because of the action, it's in the set and it's updated that according to the color. So sales here is 670,000 and yeah, 678,000 down here as well. So that's working as we like. So I'll just have a look at the other options we have on the set there, just to show what would happen if we did the other things. So if we went back to set 1, let's actually rename this region set, sort of naming of things. If we did all values to set, let's have a look what goes on here. So we currently select central and east, and then when we remove everything, and if we click off, everything's in the set, so now everything is true in the set. So it's the opposite of what we just did. If we went to the actions and we did edit, and instead we did keep set values. Let's have a look what this would do. So we would choose our current sets, so in the east, and then click off, it keeps them in the set. So this can be quite useful in certain circumstances. We'll see in the reference line when we use later. But in this case, we want just to exclude when we've clicked off. So we remove all values from the set. Yeah, that one's there. So you can format this to make it look a bit nicer. We could add labels, all that kind of stuff. But just want to show you more of the understanding of the set, so I won't go into the formatting here. So let's move on to the next step, which is the table drill down. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So the table drill down is when you've got some kind of hierarchy in the view. So you're starting on category and then you want to go down to the next level, which in this case would be subcategory. So you're looking at office supplies and you can see they're a bit down compared to furniture. You want to know what's going on, everything that makes it up. You click on it, set action comes in, and you can then see all the subcategories in that category. So this one is quite powerful and isn't too complex to do. A couple of calculated fields and we're there. So if I just go back to the dashboard where we're building this, I'm going to open a new worksheet and I'm just going to create just a duplicate data source just because it makes things simpler for me. But obviously this is not needed. So the first thing we'll do is put in what we essentially want to see. So we put category onto the rows, and then also the subcategory onto the rows, and then let's bring sales on the columns. So this is what we want when we click, but no actions. So we need to build the action which is going to allow us to make this happen. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a set for category. So if we go and get category, we do what we did previously. We go right click or click down the little arrow, click on create set. Let's call this category set. And let's just click on for now. Start on office supplies and click OK. So we created that set, but now we need to create a action which happens when something's in that set or not. So here we need to create a calculated field. So the calculated field we need to create here is essentially category to subcategory. So what we need to write here is if the category set is true, then we want to go down to the next level of granularity. So if it's true, we want a subcategory. Just go subcategory and end, and let's see what happens when we put this on the view. So put this onto after category, we want our new calculate field, and we can now remove subcategory off the view. So it's sort of working at the moment, and let's just set action in. So this is in the worksheet, so we go worksheet, actions, add action, change set values to subcat, and we want to do the category set, and we want to remove the values from the set when we click on. So right now, if we click on office supplies, it then closes, technology, etc. So almost there. You can see we've got these nulls, so it's showing obviously when they're not in the set, it's a null. So actually we want to go back to the calculated field that we created, the category to subcategory. We want to add a little else statement. So else return blank. So it's now going to show the blank instead of the nulls. So it's getting cleaner. So the next step is we want these little arrows to help guide the user with their experience. So we need to create a new calculator field to get these arrows in. So the way we do that is we create a field. Let's call this one the category expander. So the statement here is if the category set equals true, then return the category. plus the arrow. So we can get the arrow from the useful links. It's this icon. We just load this up. I'll have all these links at the end. This is very useful when you want to add little shapes into a dashboard or a sheet. So when it's category, when it's correct, I'll show when you might want to close it. So this one would be the down arrow. So let's get that up here. So for adding, so the category string, adding a space, and then we're adding a down arrow, and then else if. We don't need to do an else if, but we can do so else, show and then show that it's possible to expand it. So let's choose this one here. And then we put it in the end. We have that there. So we bring the expander into the view. And now we can see we've got, just didn't make it into our view. So now we can see that we've got the same thing as the category, but we've now got these arrows, and as we click on, the arrows change. So we're almost there. We just want to hide category from the view here because we don't need to see that twice. So let's go to show header and get that off. And then we can remove these headers up here. We don't want to see the labels for rows. So now it's a much cleaner, some labels on there as well, why not? Yeah, much cleaner and easy to interpret what's going on there. So we want to go and see what's going on with the supplies. Well, let's just sort out that sort. And now we can see what's going on there. I think this is quite powerful, not too difficult, and helps show the user what's going on here. So the next thing we had was the collapsible container. So let's have a look at the collapsible container. So here you've got your sales figures by quarter, but you're more interested in a certain area and you want to see that more granular. So you would highlight the area of interest and pops the container with the weekly sales in between this area. So between September 16 and July. So we can see those quarters there. So let's build this. So right in your sheet, I'll just put another data source so I don't get confused. Store. Okay, so let's first build the top view. So what we need to do here is we're looking at sales. So bring sales onto our row shelf, sorry. And then we want to bring on quarter sales. So if we go to order dates, we want to click on the arrow down, and we want to click create and a custom date. So we're going to click on the order date, create custom date, and then we want to look at quarters here. So we go down to quarters, and it's basically going to create a calculate field for this one. So we now got order date by quarters here. If we just drag that into columns, we can see we've got the first part of the view that we wanted. So we need to create a set on the order date by quarters. So click on the order date by quarters and create set. Let's just choose one for now. We'll do this order date quarters. And let's press OK. And let's duplicate this view. Rename this as quarters. Let's right click, duplicate sheet. And let's browse week. So here we want to put that in the filter shelf. So when it's in that set, it's only going to show the values. So we can see this is the set of the quarters. Just check that it's the correct one. Yeah. And then we bring, we don't look at order date anymore if we want to look at weekly date. So let's drag order date onto the columns. And let's change the, we're going to look at down to week number. So now it's just showing everything which is in the set we selected before the quarters. Okay, so that's all we need to do with the sets there. So we obviously need to put this into the view in a dashboard. So if we click on New Dashboard, and we need to put a vertical container onto it. Let's just make this a bit not at all. And let's drag what we want on here. So let's start off. We want quarters at the top and then on the bottom. So when we click around now, nothing's happening because we haven't put the set action in. So we go up to dashboard, actions, add action, change set values. So we want to change when we click on the quarters, so change the set. And we want to change the order of their quarters set. And similar to before, we want everything to return when we click off the set. So if we press OK, OK. So now if we highlight an area, the bottom graph updates with the equivalent of the quarters selected, but as weekly view. And then when we click off, the container closes. So we're almost there. The annoying thing about this container is that when the container closes, you can still see the title. As obviously that doesn't really help with user experience there. So we still want a title. So we want quarters over here. We want week to show only when the container is opened. So what we need to do now is build another sheet, which is basically going to be dynamic in the container as well. So let's hide the title there. So the way we do this is we would go back to week. We would duplicate the sheet, and we would need to create a calculated field. So to create that calculated field, let's first do week of order date and some of sales. We leave the filter on there because that's going to be what we need. So make sure the title only shows when they're in the set. So let's call this weekly title. And to do this, we do if the quarterly set is true, then we want to say a string weekly sales. And else, we want it to say nothing. We can see a pattern sort of emerges with the sets of what you want to do in different scenarios with the same kind of basic logic. So let's press OK. Let's get our title and let's bring that onto the labels. Let's change that to the view and let's just format that so it's the same as before. So I think we have 15 and we'll just align that in the middle. Okay, let's change this to week title and let's go to the dashboard and let's bring the week title across correctly. So just rename that to week title. Okay, so we'll bring that across as well. So we don't need that title for the sheet. So let's click off. So when we're in the set, when we're off the set. So we can now see that the weekly sales is also dynamic in terms of the way it opens and closes. In the previous example, we also have these reference lines, so they show the minimum and the maximum of the area chosen. We can do that as well. So what we need to do is we go into our quarter sheet, and we need to create two calculated fields there. So, the first calculated field, we'll call this min reference line. So to do this, we want the minimum. If the set is true, then we want it to return the order date of the quarters. So you can just drag that across from the view, as simple as that. In reference line. We can then duplicate this and just change it from min to max. So let's update the title. And let's change this from minimum to the maximum. Okay. We need to convert both of these measures into continuous because our column sheet is continuous. So you can highlight both at once and convert to continuous. The next part we need to do is drag these onto the detail shelf. We should then be able to have these as reference lines. So if we go down to order date, we can right click, add reference line. And here what we need to do is do and we want to do it the whole thing. We want to do it from the minimum, from the max, from the min. Let's just have no labels for now. No tilde to the maximum. You can obviously edit these as you like, but obviously let's just remove them. We'll go back to the dashboard. When we select off, nothing's in the set, so there's no minimum and maximum value. But when we highlight, they're in the set, so we've got these reference lines, this reference band showing the area, and then the breakdown below. So yeah, this is quite useful if you need to save space in the dashboard, or you just want to wow people with something which closes and opens, which is always quite fun. Yeah, and you can format that as needed, but we won't go against that. Yeah, just to mention again that this webinar is being recorded, so if you're following along but maybe getting lost, do not worry, you can go back through at your own time if needed. So let's have a look at the next one. So this was the timeline reference. So this was if we clicked on a certain point on the line, a reference line would update for all of the categories. So this is quite useful when comparing benchmarks against each other. We also learned this one yesterday from Andy Kriebel in our lesson. So I thought I'll pinch that one from him and share it with you guys. So this one is going the next level up. So this one requires 2 sets. So let's start by building the view. So let's add another data source as well, just so we don't confuse things. Superstore. Okay, great. So let's start by looking at quarters again. So we do the similar kind of thing. So we have order date, and then we go create, and then we want a custom. Let's look at quarters again, and let's click OK. Let's bring this into the columns. Let's bring up sales into the row shelf. So now we have started the quarters, but let's look at some subcategories. Just going to make it simple, just a lot in here. We're just going to look at appliances, accessories, and crafts. Sorry, I read those incorrectly. Just those 3. So now when we go on subcategory to split up the view, actually bring that onto columns. We can now see we have one for accessories, one for appliances, one for arts. So yeah, we've got the first step here. So integrate 2 sets. So the first set is for the order date, and then the second set is for subcategory. So let's start with creating the order date set. So we go to the order date quarters, and we don't want to create again. We want to go create set. Let's call this quarters set, and let's just use 2015 quarter now. And then let's build a set for the subcategory. So we go to subcategory, and then we go create, and let's call this sub. Let's call this the sub set, and press OK. So we've now got those two sets we needed. So what we need to do is we need to create a calculated field which goes across all of these set values. So let's go to create calculated field, and let's call this the graph line point, because you choose a point on a subcategory and it follows the reference line from that point. So we want to do this across all the subcategories. So we want to fix this, and we want to do sum if the quarter set equals true and the subcategory set equals true. We want to return the sales. So then sales end, and then make sure that you close the brackets and close the curly brackets. So that's okay. So now we need to let's add our actions. So let's go to Worksheet, actions, action, set values. So we need to do this twice. So let's start off with the quarter set, quarter action. And let's go to the quarter set. This time we want to keep set values when we click off, and we only want to click on one option here. So click run on single select only and keep set values. Okay. Then we want a second action, change set values, and this action we will call action. And we next want to go she's fine. Run single select only. Keep set values, and we want to choose the subgroup set. Press OK, and OK again. So now when we click, it should update. So let's bring the reference line into the view. So we want to bring this on to detail. We want to right click on the sales column, add reference line. We want to go to that cell, and we want the value to be the reference line point. So we'll have it a dash line. So it's not something that means we haven't selected the point yet, but now when we select a point, we can now see that reference line update to everyone. So when we click off, the reference line stays there. Let's just get rid of that label because it's more confusing. So this is very useful when you're comparing things, but we want to have one more part to this to show the color variance, how high above and below you are. So this is another calculated field. So if we go to calculated field, and let's call this variance color, and we just do, here we do the sum of the sales minus the sum of the reference line points. Bring that across. Twice. So this is going to be the difference between that, and well, you don't need two brackets, and we press OK. We want to bring that across, and we want to put that into colour. And now we can see we've got this variance colour going across. So let's click across, and we'll change it. One small thing, just a little format. We have little dots on the points to show we can click. We can do that. If we go to path, not path, if we go to colour, and we go to markers, and we just click on this one with a little dot. So we have our little dots here, which helps with distinguishing it. And you can obviously format, make it cleaner as you like. So that's the timeline reference. The next one, the scatter drill down. So it would be when you click on region, you go down to the next region and then the next region. I'll start off by doing just the next level and see how the time is there. so you can do the next level. But if not, I'll be doing a blog post on this soon anyway, so you can check that out. So let's start here. So let's create a new source, and let's go to Superstore. And let's just start by building the view. So we want sales, and let's say we want profit. And let's have this split by region. So let's bring this onto the color shelf just to help. Let's change this to circle, and let's get it there. Look at that. Okay, great. So the first thing we need to do is create a region set. So this one can get a bit messy, so I like to label these by numbers as I create them. So we go to region, and let's go create set. So each stage thing that was numbered. So let's call this one region set. And let's just click east for now. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is create a calculator field to see what happens when the set's selected. So let's create a calculator field, and let's call this one 2 region to state, because that's our next level down. So if the region set equals true, then we want the next level down, which is state, and end. No problems. So let's press OK, and let's bring this onto detail, and we can see that because we have the action, it's split the view up. So let's create an action that's dynamic. So let's go worksheet, actions, add action, and set values. So this is region to state set. And it's going to select, and we want to remove values when it's not selected. So let's OK, OK, and let's click across, and that hasn't updated. So let's just go back to the action. Region to state, edit, let's select, remove a value from stat, OK. Just check that it's OK. If region set is true, then state. If it's true. 1 second, let's see what's going on with the difference there. Okay, it's a bit strange. Let's just start again. Apologies for this. When I just start it all over because it just makes more sense to me. So let's go back to region, and let's create the region set. Region, create, set. Okay. Region set, we will call this, and let's not click anything for now, and let's press OK. Let's rename this. Let's go to step 1. Okay. Just check what's going on here. Yeah, seems fine. Next step is to create a calculator field. So let's create a calculator field, and let's call this region to state. And if the set equals true, then state. And let's just check this is the same here, because this one is going wrong. Yeah, that's what it should be. Okay. So we've done that. So the next step is we bring that onto the detail shelf. So that should be fine. Let's add the set action, worksheet, actions, new action, change set values, and let's click region set, and region to 6. And we press OK. And we press OK. So this actually now works. Great. Fantastic. I think maybe before I didn't bring it across. I think that's what was going on. So yeah, it's working, but it's a bit of a mess. So what we want to do next is to see what's going on. So if we bring the set across, we can see, let's just check this section again. We could change this to removal values, that's why it wasn't cleaning as nicely, so make sure it's removal values. Okay, so yeah, so when you bring a set onto rows, it helps with the understanding what's going on here. So when we click, we can now see that those which are in the set are states those chosen, but ones which are out of the set are still the regions. So when we take this off, we still have the other regions. So we've got central, east, west, which I don't really want in the view. So we can do this by creating a calculated field. So what we need to do here is go to calculate field. Call this free filter E1. I will break it down to make it a bit more easy to see. So this one is if set this tree, then 1 times 0. So I can automatically put these in the view set and bring out dimensions. So bring the free A1. Let's see what it's looking like with the view there. So as this changes, this value changes. So when everything's out, it's 0, and then when it's a 1, it's the next level down. So we only want to keep it when it's at the maximum. So we create a new calculate field, which is filter P2, and we want to do this equals the fixed max of 3A for the part 1, and it's going to only show at the highest level. So here will be 1, it's going to exclude here. So put that in. Bring this to filters. We only want when this is true. Okay. And let's bring that off the view here. And now we can see when we click on the region, we only have the region with levels. Unfortunately, it looks like there's not enough time to go to the next level down, but this is something which can be done. It'll be a bit more complex, but I am going to be writing a blog post on this soon, so feel free to check out the Data School blog, and it should be there. I can't say when, but soon. So let's just do a little overview of what we did. So we proportion of brushing adds up to the total. We did table drill down to see the next level of granularity. We did a collapsible container with reference lines and a collapsible title. We did timeline reference to update a reference line as we go across various categories. And then we did a scattered drill down, but unfortunately we don't have time to get to the next level. But we can get to the next level. It's completely possible. It just provides a bit more complex calculations. So yeah, I hope that's helped you guys out there. Just want to go through some useful links which have helped me. So if you want to do those little arrow icons, this is a great link shown to us with all these kind of actions and calculate fields, that kind of stuff. I'd recommend looking at Mark Reed's introduction to set actions webinar he did. Inspired by a few things he did here. Very good information here. Cross those over a bit, but I try to make mine as different as possible. Another great one is from Bethany Lyons, who works at Tableau. There's a lot of things about set actions. There's some great concepts and understanding different examples. We've also got a collaboration between Craig, who's with us here at the Information Lab, and Bethany, at Heart of the Visible, which shows many different kinds of set actions. You can download these workbooks to have a look at these. So that's it for me on set actions. I'm not sure if Mark, sorry if Nicholas is there. But yeah, that's me for actions. I'm not sure if you've got any so yes, it's recorded, and we haven't really got any other questions, it looks like. But yeah, apologies for not getting to the next level down in the drill down of the scatter plot, but this is something I will be doing a blog post soon, so I can email Nicholas to let him know when that's up if you guys are interested in that. So I don't know if there's anything, Nicholas, if you're there, if there's anything you want to add before we shut down the session?
Not for now. Maybe we can take the polls, or at least one.
Just of course.
As a last, before you can of course ask questions to them now, if you like. What we would like to know is when do you think you will use set actions in the future? Therefore, we have a small poll, which will start now. It should be. Yeah, everybody should be able to see it now and answer it. Okay, answers are coming in. Great. All right. So 53%. All right, people are still voting. Okay, let me close this for now. Thank you very much. And Ben, if you if anybody has some questions, no questions.
No questions, too early for questions.
Yeah, we had some sound issues. Apologies for that. We try to work on that. Of course, also for the recording, which will be posted on YouTube next week, and be also available in the follow-up email. All right. Okay, then Ben, thank you for having us. Thank you for the great session.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And yeah, have a great day and great weekends.
All right, thank you guys. Bye.
Goodbye.